Let's quickly go across to Yesha Kotak, who's also joining us live at the moment on the broadcast. Yesha, we've been discussing the other charges that could now spell more trouble for the Luthra brothers as far as tax evasion and money laundering is concerned. Could we expect, say, now the presence of central agencies, also particularly the Enforcement Directorate, to maybe investigate them under the PMLA?
So, when we speak of the allegations now that have been leveled against the Luthra brothers, it is on the basis of the investigation. Of course, we've had documents which have come to forth speaking about several money laundering and tax evasion allegations against the Luthra brothers. But what's important now is that once Luthra brothers are brought back to Goa is where, on the basis of the investigation, now when we speak of the central agencies, when it comes to ED or for that matter any of the central agencies, they cannot make an FIR by themselves. The FIR will have to be picked up on the basis of the investigation done by a preliminary agency wherein this FIR has been registered. In this case, it being the Goa police, because at Goa police is where the first FIR of the fire at Birch by Romeo Lane has been registered. So here, on the basis of the investigation, now these documents that has been accessed, Goa police would also be looking into those documents. As and when Goa police does that investigation, they find any kind of a loopholes in this, and that once shared with the central agency is where the central agencies can pick up that very information and proceed to make a case. So that is, of course, a long-run process.
Right.
Now, when we speak of even Luthra brothers being brought back to the country, of course, we are expecting them to come in a day or two. But when it comes to any kind of a central agency, there is a long process that needs to be followed, and which is where even if any kind of a central agency has to be involved in this very case, only once the investigation is done by Goa police. Now, this could take anywhere between say next 5 days to 10 days on the basis of when Luthra brothers come back. Once this investigation is done, Goa police has a watertight case. They have all the documents along with them. Is where we can go ahead to state that these documents could be handed over to the central agencies.
Stay with me, Yesha. Let me quickly bring into the broadcast also Anshul joining me live. Anshul, as Yesha has been highlighting, that there is a watertight case that the authorities are looking at. So if you could take us through how that entire victim card that the Luthra brothers have been latching on to is in fact failing to cut ice with the authorities, whether it is in terms of the intention, because remember they scooted just an hour after the inferno took place in which they lost 20 of their own staff members, or even say this kind of phantom expansion that is now coming under the scanner, whether it is regards to say tax evasion or even money laundering.
Well, yes, at this point in time, the agencies believe that Luthra brothers have already gone ahead and tried each and every trick in their book that could help them in evading the laws of the land, and the manner in which they ran away from the country just minutes after the entire incident had happened. And in fact, they knew that they will be brought to the books. The agencies will look out for them because the manner in which the permissions were required for carrying out such operations or such parties in a pub, those permissions were not taken by them in tandem. In fact, some sort of a bribe was also paid to them, to some officers as well, and that action has also been taken by the Goa administration against the officers who were responsible for giving them these permissions. The fire exits were not installed. So somewhere or the other, the Luthra brothers knew that they will be taken into custody by the authorities, and as soon as the fire broke out, the news got to them at approximately 1 a.m. in the night, and the next flight out of India was something that they took and evaded the law of the land. Apart from this, the other co-owners of the club also tried to go ahead and somewhere or the other evade the law, make sure that they are not arrested. They got themselves admitted to hospitals as well, trying to give this message across that they will not be safe in the custody of the police, and hence they should not be arrested. In fact, yesterday we also saw that the Luthra brothers also moved the Rohini court out here asking a preemptive bail in this entire matter, which was definitely rejected. So one thing is for sure, that these people were not willing to surrender in front of the laws. They knew that they had done something very, very wrong, and it is because of their greed to earn more money that 25 people lost their lives. And eventually, now over the next few days, we can expect that all these co-accused could be brought to the books and could be brought back to the land and eventually trialed according to the Indian laws as well.
Stay with me, Anshul. Let me quickly also bring in Yesha on that note. Yesha, as Arunima has also been highlighting consistently that the visa cancellation is going to have a bearing on the ongoing procedures at the moment. Take us through on what grounds has the visa of both the brothers being cancelled by the Ministry of External Affairs?
So yes, when it comes to Luthra brothers, because it was on preliminary information, according to Goa police, they worked as quickly as they got the information of Luthra brothers and ensured that a blue corner notice be issued against them. Now, of course, a blue corner notice is different from a red corner notice. In blue corner notice, it is the concerned diplomatic channels which are liable to give information to the opposite country about the whereabouts of the concerned accused in this case. So here, within say less than 24 hours of the incident taking place, an LOC was issued against Luthra brothers. Within less than 48 hours was where a blue corner notice was issued. But that was when it was found out that both of these brothers, Gaurav and Saurav Luthra, are in Phuket. They had taken an early morning flight around 5:30 a.m. To go to Thailand. On the basis of this blue corner notice is where a request was put forth to communicate with CBI and Interpol. It was then that the whereabouts of Luthra brothers were found out. It was also found out as to at what time the flight was really booked by Make My Trip. Now here, the whole process of extradition could take a little longer, which is on the basis of this blue corner notice, and working quickly was where the agencies ensured that the passport of the Luthra brothers has to be revoked. Now, on the basis of that is where these Thai agencies in fact found out the location. They also took their passport back, now the hurdle here is that with the passport being cancelled, there has to be documentation that has to take place for Luthra brothers to be brought back to the country. Now here again, it's not extradition, it's deportation. So deportation is of course a quicker process, but what really happens is with the passport of the Luthra brothers being cancelled, now there will be fresh documentation which have to be done by the Thai authorities, and that Thai authorities will have to approach the court informing of all the development on the basis of which this documentation could take place. We closing towards this incident taking place closer to the weekend. It could take a little longer for these documentation process to take place, which is where the Luthra brothers will be brought back only next week. We are expecting them to come back to Goa only by Tuesday or Wednesday. Now the whole process would be such that once the documentation is done, is where the central agencies in Delhi would be informed. The central agencies in Delhi would be heading towards Thailand, getting Luthra brothers back to Delhi. From Delhi is where the Goa police would be getting them back to Goa and then producing them before the court.
All right, let me quickly go across to Anshul also. Anshul, one quick question on the charges so far. What we've been told is that they are being charged under culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Could we see an addition of charges as well now that the corruption charges are also coming to the forefront?
Well, the corruption charges would definitely be looked into both by the Goa police and also by the central agencies at this point in time. Agencies like the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate can also take up this case very, very easily, because the manner in which the details of their involvement in several shell companies have come out definitely raises a lot of eyebrows. But yes, if at all any additional charges need to be made in the FI that has already been registered at this point in time, they will be made during the time when the charge sheet would be filed, that is within the next 60 to 90 days, when the Goa police would finally file the first charge sheet in this entire matter. At that point in time, we can expect some fresh charges to be pressed against them based on the investigation that will be conducted by the Goa police. At this point in time, the charges of culpable homicide not amounting to murder that has been registered against the co-owners of the Romeo Lane pub, that is something that is being looked into. How were these permissions given? Who were the people who had granted these permissions? Was any bribe that was offered to people for granting permissions for this pub to run freely in Goa? All these questions would be answered by the Goa police in their investigation that will happen over the next 2 months.
Many thanks to you, Anshul and Yesha, for bringing us all those latest inputs.